Now, William, you are quite literally one of my oldest friends. And when it was first suggested that I might like to say a few words about you this evening on the event of your 50th birthday, I felt like a man who'd just been given the all-day breakfast menu of the Premier Inn. Where to start? With so much good stuff on board. So I jotted down a few notes, just to get into the swing of things, and within 5 minutes, I had about 8 sides of A4. Brilliant, I thought to myself. This is going to be really, really easy. So I started getting all organised, laughing at all the memories, and suddenly I thought to myself, you know what? Christian, Imogen and Toby are coming. And Philip and Joe. And I looked at my speech, and I thought, well, you know what? That's going to have to come out. And that. Definitely that. And no one will ever believe you actually did that. That's just too gross. So with half the page I had left, I thought, where should I go from here? Now, of course, the normal thing to do when given an opportunity such as this would be to reflect on your achievements. But I said no to it. Leave that for future academics. Much better, I thought, to try and sum up what it is that you mean to me. What you mean to all of us. What is the essence of William James Runnett White? Personally, I thought, as I'm sure most of you did, that the medium of group, impromptu, contemporary dance would be the best way of expressing it. But Tanya said no, definitely not. And in any case, we couldn't find a leotard in my size. So instead, I've decided to describe the phenomenon that is Will White, by what I'm going to call William's 5 rules for life. William's rule number 1. There is normal time, there is William's time. Now, in order to understand this, you'll need to imagine for a moment that I'm not William's brother-in-law, but in fact, a sort of Brian Cox-like science. Now, as we all know, normal time is split up into things we call hours, minutes, and seconds. And you know what? It's really caught on as a concept, as it really is quite useful. It tells us when we need to do things, and crucially, how long we have left. William time, on the other hand, is an altogether more fluid concept. And it's very clever. It's very clever. Because it allows you to do things that normal time does not. It's a bit like being sucked into a black hole where hours become minutes and minutes become hours. So, for example, just plucking an example out here, you have a plane to catch. Now, normal time says that it'll probably take you about 4 hours to pack, to get into the car, to get to the airport, take a shuttle bus, to check in, do a little bit of shopping, and get in the plane in time in order to take off with everybody else. William time is marvellous because it says that you can do all of that in a little over half an hour. And you'll still have time to pick up your passport in Cardiff on the way. William's rule number 2. He who dares wins. Now I see Will as the bizarre love child of John Major and Bear Grylls. A man who by day is a respectable, sober, sensible figure. But within, there beats the heart of someone who is, to use one of Will's favourite phrases, mad, bad, and dangerous. A man who is prepared to take a risk just for the thrill. Now, we know when this is going to happen, Will. We all know when this is going to happen. Because you are just like a poker player. You have a 10. You have a 10. And those little eyebrows of yours start fluttering like little agitated caterpillars. And there's this frankly rather irritating little grin that appears at the side. Now, personally speaking, my risk control norm is set at a rather gentle 1, or possibly 2 after a couple of sherries. And that is a setting for me which is best summarised by the phrases, careful everyone, steady now, and I don't think I fancy the look of that. In stark contrast, I think Will's knob has dropped off altogether. Having been cranked up to the maximum once too often. Now I feel well placed to comment on Will's attitude to risk, having nearly died twice in his hands in a Portuguese golf buggy. Thanks to his desire mainly to see A, how fast it could go, and B, to find out for how long you could keep one airborne. The answer to these questions, incidentally, is surprisingly fast and not long. So when we look at some prime examples of rule number 2, you cannot look at the why. You cannot look at the why because there is no why. It's much better instead to look at what actually happened as a consequence. So we have things like Will trying to sneak up to a 1-ton bull in a Scottish field. We have you losing a game of spook and ending up with a full body. Or Joanna having lent you her car, receiving a call from the Norwegian embassy saying she had 5 minutes to remove it, although it would be blown up.
That's when you stay.
Now, every so often, rule 1, which is what I remember is William time, and rule 2, who dares wins, collide to form something called the White Adventure. Now, this is a series of unforeseen circumstances, and for the uninitiated, this can be a scary place to be. Now, if you do have the misfortune to find yourself in the middle of a white adventure, as I have done, my advice would be to keep your head down, enjoy the ride, and let Will do what he does. William rule number 3. After chocolate, friends and family come first. Now, I'm twice blessed in this regard, having not only known William, but thanks to Lucy, I have inadvertently and bizarrely become part of William's extended gene pool. Now, this was quite an unsettling concept at first, but I need any of to know that it's all turned out rather well. Simply put, William, you are one of the most generous people I know, both in spirit and in action. You are always the first to put your hand in your pocket, albeit that what usually emerges first is a startling array of used hankies. And I'm sure we all know, without a moment's doubt, that you would come to our rescue without hesitation whenever and wherever it was. And I would say also, as an outside observer, what you've achieved with your brothers at Road Stakes, I think has been phenomenal. To steer an unfashionable manufacturing business
still in business.
through the greatest economic downturn in a generation has been a fantastic achievement by you, Matthew and Edward, and is no doubt down in large part to that incredible family bond which exists between you all. William's rule number 4. Always be prepared to express an intelligent view to anyone about anything. You are an incredibly well-read, knowledgeable person. And I know my father, for example, always enjoyed his discussions with you about politics and business, as have many of us, I'm sure. Not only that, but you always do it with the greatest respect for the views of others, whatever and whoever they may be. And personally, I think that's one of the best things that could be said about anyone. In fact, well, such is your wisdom, you're often quoted in our house. Our favourite is, "If you do it again, I'll be really cross." In fact, it's too late. I'm already. It would therefore be a surprise to those people who had the misfortune to know you less well to discover that another one of your pearls of wisdom is the immortal phrase, "Cheers, cheers, we want more." William's rule number 5, and the last one. If you're going to do something, do it with passion. It's great to be with people who are passionate, people who make the ordinary extraordinary. I'm going to cry. But now I've got Many people jog. Few people do a marathon. Many people ski. Few do it by jumping out of the back of a helicopter. Many people shoot. Few have become the ruthless assassins. Many people love rugby. Few travel the world to watch the Lions and become a qualified coach at the local rugby club. And many people play football with the kids in the back garden, but few manage to make them believe that they are playing in the cup final. So there you have it, William's 5 rules for life. And do these sum up what you mean to me, to us? An optimist who's fun to be with, who tackles life head on and takes the consequences with good grace, whatever they may be. A loyal and generous son, brother, husband, father and friend, who asks for nothing in return.